Welcome, one and all, to the Cine Geeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Roy, still joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
Hello!
Hey, Angela. And for today's episode, we will be talking about a couple of movies coming out this weekend here in the Philippines. First being The Fall Guy, directed by David Leitch, written by Drew Pearce and Glenn A. Larson, starring Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Hannah Waddingham, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Winston Duke, and Stephanie Hsu. And the other being Men Are From QC, Women Are From Alabang, directed by Gino M. Santos, written by Kiko Abrillo and Christine Gabriel, starring Heaven Peralejo and Marco Gallio. So,
rom-coms.
yes,
Yeah.
a couple of rom-coms this weekend. Ang ating bibigyan ng spotlight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of kilig moments this
Oh,
week.
super.
Right. But before we continue, we'd like to remind everyone who hasn't done so to follow our pod wherever you listen to podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
Also, set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations.
And please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and X, formerly Twitter, so you can join in on the Cinegeeks conversation. Also, visit our website, www.cinegeekspod.com, for the latest in movie and TV news and reviews.
Okie dokie. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about The Fall Guy. A down-and-out stuntman must find the missing star of his ex-girlfriend's blockbuster film. Okay, so a very stacked cast
Yes.
for a much-anticipated film. Okay?
Especially after Barbenheimer.
Yes.
Kasi this is like an inside joke eh. Flipping the Barbenheimer kasi sila yung partner ni Barbie and Oppenheimer, di ba?
True. And they also had a short skit during the Oscars about this. Di
Yeah.
ba?
It's a long-running joke.
Long-running joke.
They even used it on SNL.
Ayun, nung nag-host si Ryan Gosling, they made fun of it during his opening monologue.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, first off, we would like to thank Universal Pictures Philippines for inviting us to the special advance screening of The Fall Guy. But as always, the studio and distributor of this film weren't given any creative control or editorial approval for this episode. So, whatever our review is of the film, they are hearing for the first time, same as you are. All right. So, Ange, what did you think of The Fall Guy?
Initially, like I said earlier, it's like a running joke, an inside joke, if you will, dun sa Barbenheimer meme of last year's Oscars. And I feel like this is the perfect project na parang pangbanlaw dun sa previous na big roles nila. Kasi you feel like they let down their hair in this movie. Kasi ang tagal nun, almost a year din na they're going toe-to-toe. Especially after the SAG-AFTRA strike. Talagang nag-start na kaagad sila nung making the rounds. And they're always pit against each other. Diba? So, they're from two of the leading movies from last year's...
Biggest films of last year.
Nung July, diba? They came out the same day. And they both were successful in the box office. Going into the movie itself naman, I appreciated the personal message from the director that this is a love letter to the stuntmen and women of movies, of cinema, kasi they are the most underappreciated parts of the movie. If napansin ko nga kasi kapag ka, diba, sa credits, talagang ang layo bago makita mo yung mga stunt crew. And they are a very integral part, especially dun sa mga blockbusters na nagugustuhan natin. So, I love that they made a movie paying tribute and paying their due recognition to the unsung heroes of film. Yan. What about you?
Well, to add to what you said, yung message ni David Leitch, the director of the film. By the way, we saw this again during the special advance screening. So, hindi ko alam kung ipapalabas to alongside regular showings of the film. Pero there was a short message from Leach and Ryan Gosling, star of the film. Just yung what you said earlier, na parang okay, they made this as a love letter to the stunt community, etc. etc. Tapos may joke pa doon na parang sabi ni Gosling na, we made this for you. Every day we were on set, we were thinking about you. Tapos nasabihan siya ni David Leitch na parang nagte-text sila kunyari na it's getting cheesy.
Yeah.
Nakakatuwa yun kasi that set up how absolutely irreverent the humor of this film was.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the funniest films of the year so far. Okay? That's to be expected na siguro if you have Ryan Gosling as one of your cast members.
He's starting to become a comedian, no?
Pero hindi siya yung comedian na ha-ha-ha eh. Para siyang, may sinabi ka dati na parang, he reminds me of somebody. And you said na he's like George Clooney. Yon.
Dry humor, pero ang cool niya. Grabe yung swagger niya.
Sobrang suave niya. And
if you ask him to do drama, he can.
Kayang-kaya niya.
Diba?
Pero kayang-kaya din niyang effortlessly deliver deadpan comedy. Kaya din niya maging slapstick. Kaya din niyang excel in physical comedy. And actually, ang parang this movie kills so many birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Kasi part of Ryan Gosling's strength as a deadpan / physical comedian is his ability to make it look like he is both in and isn't aware of the joke. Yon. Di ba? Na ito, ang dami niya mga stunts na parang especially there's this one particular sequence. Not spoiling anything, pero the joke is something happens to him over and over and over again, juxtaposed against a supposedly very serious and dramatic conversation. Yun.
Yeah.
Pero yun na nga napapagana niya yung ganung physicality and the comedy that comes with it. Even as he elicits emotion kasi sobrang heavy din nung discussion that's happening at the same time.
Parang medyo tongue-in-cheek yung kanyang humor.
Yun.
And also with meta elements to it.
Yes. I mean, this is a film made by somebody who loves film and is working so intimately in film. Kaya yung sinabi na ang writer neto or co-writer is si Drew Pearce. Yung same irreverent humor ni Drew Pearce, makikita mo dun sa yung filmography niya as a writer kasi siya yung nagsulat nung Iron Man 3. So, yun pa lang, I mean, yes, it's by Shane Black, which is yung mga Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
And of course, yung classic na Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes.
So, yung, alam mong pag-dry humor mixed with action, siya agad yung maiisip mo. Kasi siya din yung nagsulat nung Hobbs and Shaw.
Oo nga.
Yon. So, he is willing to both display affection and poke fun at the subject matter that he's writing about.
Yeah.
Yan.
Laughing at and laughing with the characters.
Yes.
Oo nga all the movies that you mentioned, they all have this very witty banter between the characters. Yun yung pinaka main quality. The quick wit and yung mga sobrang irreverent na punchlines. Medyo tongue-in-cheek and alam mo yon, parang 1 second then you'll miss it. And well, you have to be quick to get it.
Yes.
Ganon.
Yes.
And I love na, just to add lang to what you just, yung writing, I love na ang dami niyang movie references and Easter eggs dun sa script mismo.
Yun nga.
Dun sa dialogue.
Yung kung kung casual movie viewer ka, matatawa ka dun sa deadpan humor and physicality ni Gosling, yung quick wit and banter niya with Emily Blunt and the rest of the cast. Pero kung talagang movie fan, cinephile ka, talagang you're we eating good with this movie.
Sobra. Kaya nga, I don't think this is just a love letter to the stunt community. I think this is also a love letter to all cinema lovers.
Yes.
Kasi lahat ng mga lines na ginagamit dito is a reference to another famous franchise or movie. And if you know, you know. Parang
Yes.
ganon. Ang daming ganong moments na hashtag IYKYK. IY. Tama ba?
Okay. Yun. At saka, one thing to also not forget or kailangan nating ma-mention is, of course, David Leitch is one of the most recognizable names in the stunt community. I mean, if you're a true student of cinema, isa sila dun sa mga talagang alam mo yung pangalan, not just because of his films of late, na talagang he has proven himself to be a great director, pero matagal siyang collaborator ni Chad Stahelski. So,
one of the most prolific
Oo.
stuntmen and directors.
And directors.
Siya lang naman ang behind sa little movie called John Wick.
Yes. So, yung first John Wick, co-directed nilang dalawa ni Stahelski yun. Oo.
So, this is a stunt movie made by a stunt man.
Yes. So, talagang they know their thing.
Yes.
And this is not a spoiler, or minor spoiler, I guess. Pero towards the end, there's this big climactic set piece. Tapos, natuwa naman ako kasi this film is made by 87 North Productions. So, yun yung parang ginawa nilang production outfit nila Stahelski tsaka ni David Leitch. So, yung isang parang yung parang airbag, yung nilalandingan ng mga stuntmen pag halimbawa tatalon sila na matalas. Hindi ko alam napansin mo yun. May 87N.
Yeah, I saw it.
Nung nakita ko, yeah! Yeah, stuntmen. Woo!
Just to circle back to the movie, I love na parang it gave you a little peek behind the curtain of how movie making works. Alam mo yung lahat ng elements and all the people involved in making scenes that you enjoy in the cinemas. Yung magic na yon, parang pinapakita dito yung bare bones niya. And yun nga it's a love letter to the movie making community as well, not just movie fans. Kasi we only see the actors on screen. Pero there are so many people making all those scenes happen. 'Di ba? Not just during the production, kahit post pa. 'Di ba? All the sound people, the camera crew, and yung mga coordinators, stunt coordinators. Alam mo yung underappreciated sila kasi wala sila dun sa screen. Pero everything they do, yun kasama yun dun sa nakikita nating finished product.
Yes, that's right.
So this is like they're being given their flowers for a change. Nasa kanila naman yung center stage. Of course, si Ryan Gosling naman. Well, I loved yung last part that they really showed yung mga, yun nga, how stunts work. Para siyang nanonood ka ng yung sa mga magicians. Tapos nire-reveal nila kung paano ginagawa yun.
Yung yung secret ng kanilang...
The secret sauce.
Oo.
Parang ganun Parang ganun yung...
Actually, may naisip ako doon. Yung doon sa dulo, na yung... Eto, minor spoilers as well. At the end of the film, there is a scene or there are scenes in the end credits and then there's a post-credit scene. So please be sure to not leave right away.
Yeah.
Okay? Pero yung dun sa scene sa credits na yung nagpapakita ng behind the scenes ng stunts, naaalala ko yung pagdulo ng scene ni Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
yung
that's
ganon,
it.
na pinapakita kung paano niya ginagawa yung mga stunt niya, pa siya paulit-ulit, yung ganon. Pero of course, iba naman yung kay Jackie Chan, parang pag nakikita mo yung kung paano niya ginagawa yung stunt niya, parang, parang mapapaaray ka Ito alam mong, okay, controlled environment, safe naman siya. Nakakita mo naman nag-i-enjoy talaga. Pero to add to what you said earlier, na this is a love letter to not just the stunt community, but also to cinema in general, part of the humor that is present in this film, alam mong insider yung gumawa kasi they poke fun at the notion that these Hollywood actors always love to parade na they do their own stunts. Yun. Sobrang lampuned nung concept na yun dito. Talaga to as far as they can bring that joke.
Yes.
And nakakatawa kasi, alam mo na dahil yung nagsusulat ng joke or yung nagdadala ng joke, alam niya kung gaano nakakatawa yung joke na yun. The joke never gets old.
Yes.
There's always a fresh take on it as the movie goes along. Talaga. And another thing na talagang parang nag-stand out sa akin dun sa sine is how the soundtrack is just, oh my God, ang ganda ng soundtrack niya. I mean, both the score, okay, and also the needle drops.
Yes.
Yung kung mahilig ka sa 80s rock or kahit sa glam rock, talagang it's up your wheelhouse.
Pero meron akong isang favorite moment dun na may needle drop talaga na sobrang chef's kiss.
Yun pa, may isa din.
Oo, pero I don't wanna spoil it because it's one of those memorable moments talaga na alam mo yon, sobra talagang iba din yung pagdadala kasi ni Ryan Gosling. Grabe din yung on-screen charisma niya.
Grabe yung niya, yung kanyang swagger as a leading man, and that is a fantastic segue over to talking about how great the performances here are. Okay, so I mean, we've been waxing on about how great Ryan Gosling is, pero Emily Blunt is no slouch herself.
Oh, yes.
Talagang tapatan silang dalawa ni Gosling dito.
Especially after Oppenheimer na sobra niyang tuned down, sobra niyang, alam mo yon, silent anger and yung gano'n na parang seething inside yung character niya, and she's not able to really express it na outwardly. Alam mo yung dito, parang biglang nag-let out siya, na bigla siyang nag-relax after nun. Banlaw talaga siya.
Saka gusto ko doon na di ba, ang gandang comparison na kung dun sa Oppenheimer, sa sobrang frustrated na niya dun sa sa kanyang leading man niya. Hindi naman niya masabi kasi nga iba yung norms nung panahon na yon. Itong si Emily Blunt dito talagang maldita kung maldita And siya, hindi lang siya yung para lang magmaldita, pero ang ganda niyang foil doon sa pagiging quote-unquote cool cucumber ni Ryan Gosling. So, eto, speaking of needle drops, this movie has one of the funniest needle drops this year as well. Dalang-dala ni Gosling yung eksenang yon.
Yes.
And let's just say na if you're a Swiftie, that scene is extra chef's kiss din talaga. Pero aside from the two of them, of course, alam na natin na Gosling is Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt is Emily Blunt. The supporting cast is game as well. Hannah Waddingham, of course, from Ted Lasso. And Winston Duke from
Black Panther,
si M'Baku. And Aaron Taylor Johnson. Okay. His name is always a mouthful.
Yes.
And Stephanie Hsu, all seem to be having so much fun on screen. Lalo na si Taylor Johnson.
yeah.
Who is relishing the chance to play a douchebag on screen.
Alam mo nga kung ano yung parang naisip kong dynamic nila dito sa movie. Para siyang Tropic Thunder. When it comes to making a joke about how movies work, how cinema works, and all the actors, and all the moving parts of a film set. Parang ganon.
Actually, thank you. Natumbok mo yung pinaka-closest comparison ng scene na to. Again, Tropic Thunder. Of course, hindi ko alam kung good thing or bad thing ba siya. Pero you won't be able to get away with making that movie in the climate that we are in.
Yes. It's a product of its time.
Truly. Pero this film manages to come so close to achieving the greatness of Tropic Thunder.
A fresh take on the joke, or it's a loving joke. Yun. Actually. It's an affectionate joke, ganon.
It is. Whereas Tropic Thunder was talagang a joke meant to bring down everyone's egos.
A satire.
A satire, yun, true. Ito talagang parang, it's a funny, katumba siya na parang funny anecdote by somebody who has very, very intimate knowledge about something. Na alam mong hindi niya, magagawa siya ng nakakatawang joke. Oo, gagamit siya ng parang mga nakaka-put down na elements ng konti. Pero alam mong hindi niya intention yun kasi part siya nun, one. And two, love love na love niya talaga yung subject matter na yun. Yun. So that's what Drew Pearce, Glenn Larson, and David Leitch have concocted in this film. Of course, it goes without saying na the stunts are top tier.
Oh, of course, yes.
Talaga, I mean,
they won't sell it as a stuntman movie, a Fall Guy. The Fall Guy is the stuntman, diba?
True, yes. Oh, by the way, just the movie itself is actually a, I don't know if you can call it a remake, okay? It's actually reboot.
Adaptation.
Yeah, sige, I'll take that. It's an adaptation or something loosely based to a TV show that was shown in the 80s. Of course, also called The Fall Guy. About a stuntman who moonlights as a bounty hunter. Yun. So, kaya ang kanyang parang dito, ang ginawa sa kanya, parang he was tasked by Hannah Waddingham's character to look for Aaron Taylor Johnson. Not a spoiler, it's in the trailers.
Yes.
Yun. So, parang lang, kinuha nila yung elements nun. Yun. Pero ikaw, would you be averse to spending more time in the Cult Seavers universe kung may sequel ba?
Oh, not at all. I would love more of this. More of the ridiculous world of the Fall Guy.
True.
Anything Ryan Gosling, I would love more.
True. Pwede siyang maging parang may naisip nga akong idea kanina na pwedeng ang maging sequel niya, magiging sila, para silang IMF. Pero may cover, ang cover nila lagi, yung sine na dinidirect ni Emily Blunt.
Oh, pwede.
So, halimbawa, pupunta sila sa isang country. Tapos, may shoot dapat sila doon. Pero yung team nila, nila Ryan Gosling, nila Winston Duke, yung mga stuntmen, mga sila? Mga IMF. Mga bounty hunter. Yan.
Oo nga, pwede.
Diba?
Alam mo, I would love a TV show, actually, to come out.
Sana.
Based on this. Talaga, every season a movie, ganun.
Reboot nung TV show, sequel from the movie. Okay.
Oo, magso-circle back lang, parang full circle lang siya. Babalik lang din siya sa TV.
True. Okay. Well, I think we've discussed everything that we can. Is there anything you want to add to your final thoughts for The Fall Guy?
Only that it deserves to be seen in cinemas. Because the best way to appreciate the people who make movies is to go to the cinemas and see it the way they intended it to be seen.
Yes.
In the movie house.
Yes.
Yeah. So, a hearty recommendation from me. How about you?
It's about time na the stunt community has their due. Or given their due. For so long, we've been enjoying so many films na hindi na alam ng karamihan na part of what makes it enjoyable is the stunt men and women who risk their lives every shooting day to give us the exciting action that we see on screen. And it's heartening na in recent times na the stunt community has taken a central role more and more, especially with the popularity of the John Wick franchise. It's not a secret na that is a movie by stunt people, for stunt people.
Yes, exactly.
Yun. Kaya talagang ramdam mo yung love. And you mentioned earlier, it's not just love for stunts, the stunt men and women, but also for cinema. How everything works, yung bawat cog dun sa machine.
Yeah.
Oo, may mga times na idiosyncratic sila sa ginagawa nila, pero alam mo na they're part of one big whole that's just designed to provide entertainment to the rest of the world. So it's also a big recommendation from me. And for us, the Cine Geeks, we will gladly give this a rating of A. All right, so that's it for The Fall Guy. Solid A talaga.
Sobrang fun.
Sobrang wild ride niya.
Yes.
And
popcorn movie talaga.
It's funny kasi it's a popcorn movie that works on so many levels. Pwede kang magdala ng kadate mo, kilig moment pa din. Pero if you're a fan of well-made action movies.
And cinema in general.
Kasi the meta jokes fly non-stop. This movie is sure to be a crowd pleaser.
True.
Ayan. Okay.
Agreed.
So, let's now go over the second film we will be talking about in this episode. Men Are From QC, Women Are From Alabang. Okay, so the film tells the story of a young couple who struggle in their relationship as they deal with growth, assurance, security, and distance, both literal and metaphorical. So, yeah, it's rom-com, pero medyo heavy,
And medyo grounded.
grounded too. All right, so, Ange, what did you think of, I'll call it lang, QC Alabang. What did you think of QC Alabang?
That's quite a mouthful.
Yeah,
Yeah, the title is very long.
super.
So you can imagine the hashtag we had to use.
Oo.
Hashtag men are from QC, women are from
Parang
Alabang.
pag i-tweet natin to, mauubos na yung kalahati dun sa title pa lang.
Age reveal ka na naman, ah.
Sorry, man.
Medyo long tweets na ngayon.
Alam
Yung mga first generation Twitter yung sinasabi mo.
Yeah, 140
Kasing haba ng
characters.
SMS.
Text lang yun, tama.
Remember?
Yeah.
Anyways, well, it's a dead ringer for the book, the international book na Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, di ba?
I mean, it was inspired. Not really a dead ringer. Pero kasi may book naman talaga si Stanley Chi na Men Are From QC, Women Are From Alabang. It's a local book.
Ah, okay. So, kasi nung una ko siyang narinig, sabi ko, may book na ganyan, di ba? Parang international, pero Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. So, parang hindi ko alam na meron din pala talagang book na Men Are From QC, Women Are From Alabang. And this movie was adapted from that book or inspired.
Inspired, I guess. Oo.
So, the local book, yung QC Alabang, was written by Stanley Chi.
Yes.
And was that like a novel or something? I don't know the background of the book.
Ako din hindi ko naman din siya masyadong alam ko yung existence niya, pero hindi ko pa siya nabasa ever. I am guessing that this is more like parang yung Bob Ong book na meron siyang through line yung libro niya, pero para siyang
Collection of anecdotes?
parang ganoon siya. It's a collection of anecdotes, parang telling a larger story of one topic, parang ganon.
I see.
Yeah.
So, yun, just like what I said earlier, diba? It's a bit more grounded than Fall Guy.
Yes.
Especially, it tackles the millennial struggle of the Filipino commuter.
Tama.
And an ambitious and up-and-coming young professionals, diba? In the character of Heaven. As well as kay Marco din. Pero we see that more in Heaven eh. And her character is Aika. Yan. Yeah, I can see myself in her. Ambitious, driven, talagang plano sa buhay, breadwinner. I mean, the typical struggle of a person na ang daming gustong patunayan. And in that regard, sobrang relatable niya. Kasi napaka-headstrong din niya and madiskarte and passionate about family. And yung pursuit of love, parang nasa baba siya ng totem pole when you're parang new in the workforce. Ganon. So, I really identified with her, especially nung mga unang taon ko. So, yung kay Marco naman, I can see na siya yung parang privileged kid na doesn't really know what he wants to do yet. He's trying to find himself in the sea of hustling young workers. Tapos, parang may gusto din siyang patunayan, pero dahil, nasa person of privilege siya, kumbaga, typical rich kid na chip on their shoulder. Ganon. And they meet. And yon, how do they navigate life and relationships kung magkaiba yung parang destination nila? So that also parang nagko-correlate din siya dun sa a crossroads element nung story. Kasi parang they met at a crossroads. Pero are they meant to go in the same direction? Ganon. So yun yung parang intriguing element sa akin ng story. How about you?
Well, ako naman, ang mas na-appreciate ko dun sa the film itself. Okay, so I don't know anything about the book that this movie is based off from. But judging a movie by its merits, na-appreciate ko yung, sabi natin kanina, yung pagiging grounded nung kwento niya. Na, meron pa rin siya ng mga usual Filipino film tropes, flourishes, kumbaga. Pero this movie is mature enough and smart enough to know that it's telling a story na hindi niya pwedeng dayain yung parang relatability ng kwento. Kasi alam niya na maraming makakapanood nito. Alam niya na maraming makakakita ng struggles ng bida. Yes, yung si Aika and si Tino na yes, siguro kasi maraming makakakita ng kanilang the burden of being under meritocracy. Yung pinalaki kasi there's a certain generation of young Filipino millennials. Or sa mga wag young, Filipino millennials, both young and old, dun sa bracket na yon. Na tayo yung pinalaki na makukuha lang natin yung mga gusto natin kapag nag-work hard tayo and kapag nag-focus tayo doon sa end goal that we have na in-instill sa atin nung bata pa lang tayo. And ang nakakalungkot doon sa ganung parang pressure na at a very young age, parang in-instill sa atin ng mga nakakatanda, we forgot to have a life. Some of us, a lot of us. And this struggle is seen mostly doon sa character ni Heaven, which is si Aika. And not because of parang may nagpipigil sa kanyang maging magkaroon ng buhay. Hindi, kasi her situation is also very emblematic of so many young Filipinos ngayon na yung
tama ka yung
breadwinner sila ganun.
Yung strong family ties.
Yun.
And yung sense of responsibility mo sa family. Pero go ahead, please continue.
Yan, tsaka yung yung hindi manggagaling dun sa magulang or dun sa parang kung sino man yung parental unit nung millennial, yung parang pressure to provide, especially dun sa situation ni Heaven dun sa movie. We're not gonna really spoil much na. We want you to really see this film yourselves. Pero yung character niya kasi is put in a situation where she has to parang stand as the breadwinner of her family by no choice. Parang pwede ko sabihin siguro na hindi naman niya choice din masyado. Na siya yung talagang tumayo. Pinili niya kasi nakita niya yung burden doon sa mother niya. And being the good daughter that she is, she chose to parang help carry the load.
She took it upon herself.
Yun. Oo. And on the other end naman, yung kay Tino, si Marco Gallio, madami ding mga millennials ngayon na naging sheltered. Madaming yung parang mga magulang ang pananaw sa mundo sobrang sama ng mundo and hindi papakawalan yung bata hanggang quote-unquote ready na siya. Tapos, ang nangyari, nung quote-unquote na-release na yung bata doon sa nest ng magulang, hindi naman alam ng bata kung yung gagawin niya. And hindi dahil parang clueless yung bata na walang social skills, walang urbanidad. Hindi ganun More siya na parang dahil nabigyan siya ng lahat ng kailangan niya growing up.
Everything was provided for.
Oo, hindi na niya alam kung ano yung dream na meron ng puso niya. Kasi parang why will you yearn for something more if everything is already given to you?
And everything is already planned for you.
Oo, yun. Pero ang na-appreciate ko naman dito is hindi siya yung naging hindi siya nagstay doon. Parang yun lang yung naging setup nilang dalawa. Pero ang nagustuhan ko dito is as the story progresses, and by the way, the script is so relatable. It's so natural. Human, so natural. Ang ganda ng pagkakasulat ng mga linya nito ni Keiko Agbilio and Christine Gabriel.
Yeah.
Na parang may mga moments nga kanina na nung pag-uusap sila, hindi naman necessarily yung pag-aaway, pero yung them being together.
Yeah.
It harkens back to our days nung earlier on in our relationship when we were years younger. And ganun pa yung natin, yung we were still trying to parang figure out
our place in the world.
Our place in the world, exactly.
Ano siya very colloquial. Hindi siya parang nagde-declaim sila or nagre-recite sila ng memorized lines. You know, there's something very natural. They seem like real people and they sound like us, how we talk to each other. Alam mo yun? Sobrang natural, sobrang relatable, and it doesn't sound too, I don't know, maybe artificial.
Yun yung keyword doon. It doesn't sound artificial. Their struggle, their hopes and their dreams, itong mga fictional characters natin, they feel and seem real. because of how natural the dialogue was written.
Which is why it's easy to care about them.
Exactly. Yun din talaga. Oo. Yung isa pang na-appreciate ko dito is yung pinakita niya kung gaano ka raw yung nararamdamang emotion nung mga dumadaan dun sa ganung klaseng struggle in that moment. Kasi although may tendency kasi na parang kapag tumanda ka na tapos naglo-look back ka na lang sa buhay mo and you parang take stock of the things you did, all the shit you pulled, yung mga ganon. Madaling tignan na parang makikringe ka eh. Pero merong mga moments dito na siguro for us na dahil tumanda na tayo and we've outgrown that phase na hindi naman sabihin cringe pero parang would remind us of who we were back then. Pero it's that, I don't know, I might call it a warped sense of nostalgia na nanggagaling nun sa sine na parang medyo it really hits hard. Some of it hits home talaga.
I wouldn't say warped kasi ano naman siya eh, it doesn't romanticize the struggles. It really shows you how it is. And we know because we've been through some of those things that they've been through, di ba? Kumbaga, napaka-totoo nung mga struggles nila. Especially dun sa career and how they balance their relationship and their career.
Yes.
Alam mo yon, parang totoo yung struggle na yon, and they showed the good and the bad and the ugly of it.
Yes.
It doesn't romanticize. Wala naman siyang warped sense. Kasi pinakita naman na they were weak. They were human. Talagang going through this and they act out and they sometimes become irrational and it's hard to parang understand them. You know that what they're doing is wrong or something. Pero you can't judge them because they're human. So that's what I loved about the characterization. Ang ganda ng pagkakasulat ng mga characters.
Tama. And yung going back a bit lang yung sinabi natin na hindi siya tropey. Masyado. Ang nakakatawa kasi dito is there are some parts of the film that you would think would fall into the standard genre tropes.
Yung mga telenovela twist.
Na parang, or yung mga parang standard complications. Na may ganitong dadating, may susulpot bigla, tapos magiging parang complication sa kanilang dalawa.
Yeah.
Hindi eh. Ang ganda kasi, either it did away with the complication, the possible complication altogether, or it subverted the complication altogether.
Which is really refreshing.
Yun.
I love that part.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. We don't want to spoil
no spoilers.
But you'll know it when you see it.
And ang ganda kasi nun, kasi yung subversion ng trope nitong scene na to, dun sa isang expected natin na, okay, itong element na to, ito yung magiging pag-aawayan nila, ganyan. Pero ang ending is, dahil na-subvert yung presence ng element na yon, ang ending, nakatulong pa siya na maging parang element of change doon sa isang character. Ang ganda eh. Ang galing.
Oo nga eh. Nakakatuwa nga kasi ang totoong buhay hindi naman teleserye.
Exactly. Yan.
Kaya nakakatuwa na makakita na yes, they get it. The writer gets it.
Yes.
Na hindi tayo nakatira sa sa drama-rama sa hapon.
Oo, yun.
'Di ba? Na parang
Tama.
Kung ano yung parang predictable na mga struggles and sa mga conflicts, yun yung mangyayari.
True.
Sometimes it's just life.
It is.
Yun lang yung complication,
Tama.
life.
Oo.
And yun yung pinaka-heartbreaking thing about reality. Diba? And it grounds you to that.
True.
It hammers it home na there's no bad guy, there's no villain in this story.
Wala. There are two people navigating life and intersecting yung mga buhay nila and how they navigate that tricky part of both having a career and maintaining a relationship. And,
I would dare say nga na parang it's a little bit coming of age story.
Meron din.
Diba?
Meron akong isang nagustuhan na part dito. I mean, I'm just gonna go over dun sa the film itself for a bit. May na-appreciate lang ako na part dun na usually kasi mga sining ganito, meron siyang sakit na showing the part of a relationship growing, magiging parang kilig overload siya. Na parang biglang may mga scene na nag-overboard. Hindi na natin papangalanan kung ano yun.
Yeah.
Pero alam natin kung ano yun.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yes. Etong dito sa QC Alabang, may part siya na they showed the passage of time and the growth of their relationship in a very engaging manner.
And realistic.
And realistic siya. Nakakatuwa din kasi meron isang joke dito na sobrang napa-cheer pa ako kasi talagang yes, yan yung tamang sagot doon. And sigurado maano niyo yung finally yung age-old question.
Yes.
Ano ba talaga ang midpoint ng Quezon City at ng Alabang?
Finally gonna be answered here.
Sasagot na doon. Yes.
And we are right. We are vindicated.
Yes. Vindication.
Anyway.
Yun. Isa pang strength din itong scene na to, maliban dun sa writing and yung admittedly very modern take in its direction from Gino Santos is also, of course, the chemistry.
The acting.
The acting. Yung kay Heaven and kay Marco. If I'm not mistaken, they are real, R-E-A-L.
That's yet to be confirmed.
Yet to be confirmed. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
They're not giving any
And
confirmations about it.
Great for them.
Yeah,
we don't need
none
to
of
know
our business.
None of our fucking business.
Yeah.
So
and, they are actors telling stories. That's what we care about.
Exactly. And
at the end of the day, di ba?
Yung chemistry nila, yung Heaven, her performance as the breadwinner of a family na hindi naman siya pinilit eh. Siya yung nag-choose na maging breadwinner. And eto siguro, dare I say, if I may just peel the curtain back, natutuwa ako kasi when we got to know each other years ago, hindi ko nasasabihin kung ilang specific years.
Okay.
Naabutan pa kita dun sa time na you were parang Heaven's character. And nakakatuwa kasi nakuha niya perfectly yung the demeanor, the way that a person internally would react dun sa struggle niya na ganun, being the breadwinner of a family. How she struggles with parang this new element in her life that can throw everything into chaos.
Yes, that's so true. Sobrang relate talaga ako dyan. And also, just to add, yung sa career din, I love na she was shown as a type A personality pero hindi siya toxic. Kasi they usually demonize ambitious women.
Yes.
Diba? In movies,
yes.
And local and international. Pero kasi dito sa kanya, parang it was never about yung competition against other people, man or woman.
Tama.
Parang she just wants to prove herself and find her place in her world, di ba? Also, hindi siya yung controlling.
Hindi.
It's not about control and hindi siya play up as neurotic or control freak. Aggressively ambitious woman.
Tama.
Alpha woman. Hindi siya ganon. I mean, she is still just a person and gusto ko din na hindi pinlay up yung story na rich and poor.
Ano nila yung difference ng dalawa?
Kasi Heaven's character was really middle class. Hindi siya pinlay up na parang nai-insecure dun sa financial status or sa class ni Tino, di ba? So, yon.
And ano din, yung character din ni Marco, nakakatuwa kasi para siyang hindi din naman siya pinakita na idiot siya, na rich kid. May ano siya eh, meron siyang kakayahan eh. Meron siyang galing eh. And to piggyback dun sa sinabi mo na Heaven's character was thankfully not portrayed as an aggressively alpha woman, per your term. Yung doon naman kay Tino, hindi din naman siya pinortray na parang idiot rich kid, na ang pinaka talagang conflict dito is not between them, is not between them against other people. It's the real life conflict of you against life. And you wanting to prove yourself in this game called life. Na parang meron kang instilled na pangarap, meron kang instilled na drive to achieve. And yun yung pinapakita nila na how do I achieve what I want to achieve and have this, and have my happiness as well.
Yon.
And
how do you become a well-rounded person?
And ang nakakatuwa dito kasi is we're just gonna circle back to it. There is no demonizing anyone. There is no vilifying anyone in this movie. Not Kevin's character, dahil parang, ay, bakit hindi na lang siya mag-settle down kasama si Marco kasi mayaman naman si Marco, pwede naman mag-provide sa kanya. There is also no demonizing Marco's character, na parang, gabi ka naman, possessive ka masyado. Hindi eh. Sa totoong buhay, nobody talks like that.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks like that.
Uh-uh.
It's the media's fault kung bakit ang dami mga taong ganun mag-isip. Pero if you're just going to talk, you're going to meet real, actual people who have real, actual dreams and real, actual struggles. They focus morely on themselves and how they improve themselves. Yun. And yun yung parang nakakatuwa dito kasi not once did this movie ever show na wanting to be a better person is bad.
Yon. Isa pa yon. Na wanting to be a better you should be selfish.
Oo.
Because it's not.
It's not.
'Di ba? May self-actualization ka pa rin. Even if you're in a relationship or you're one half of a couple, 'di ba? Parang hindi pwedeng mawala yung sarili mong pangarap.
True.
And it reminds me nga of, a little bit lang naman, it reminds me of the story of La La Land. Kasi it also,
Shucks, nga no. Uy,
diba?
no.
So they also struggle with their personal dreams
Yung nga,
and
no.
their relationship. And sometimes, magkaiba siya eh. Parang you just meet at a crossroads talaga. Pero you're going in different directions.
Wow.
Parang yun yung metaphor talaga na tumatak sa akin na you would think na it's about the long distance relationship story. But it's not. It's really about just, life's crossroads.
Yan.
Sometimes you're bound to meet at a point na common and then you go on your way, different destinations. You're just gonna be together at one point, parang ganon.
True.
Which is beautiful and tragic at the same time.
Oo nga, no? Shucks. Alam mo, kaso medyo spoilery eh.
Let's not go.
Ito na lang, sige. Ito ko lang sabihin. Sige mo, final thoughts na lang. For me to. As is, the movie, QC Alabang, I loved it. It wasn't a perfect movie kasi ang dami niyang mga elements na parang either underutilized or could have done away with. Totally. Talaga. May mga ganong parts doon. But at the same time, I truly appreciate na this film dared to tackle a very real topic, a very unromanticizable aspect of real life, ambition.
Yeah. Coming of age.
Relationships. Yung intersection nun.
Yeah.
Ambition and relationship. Yun. And it did so beautifully. And sometimes tragically. And sometimes both at the same time.
Because that's life.
Because that's the life. Oh,
C'est
that's
la
life.
vie.
Yun. Pero kung ang ganda sa amin, parang La La Land eh. Kung ganun siyang, ganun dun, siguro na over...
Standing O.
Oo, yun. Oo. Pero it's still a Filipino movie. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Yun. You take it how you will when you see it this weekend or whenever you get to see it.
But we recommend it.
Hearty recommendation. Ikaw, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, never lose yourself in a relationship. And do not define your happiness with a person. Happiness comes from within.
Wait, tungkol ba ito sa movie or magkakaroon ba tayo na The Relationship Geeks podcast na tayo?
Shucks.
Ito na ba yung backdoor pilot natin doon?
Kaya nga, di ba? Parang I was so excited to talk about this because it tackles life and reality. The reality of life. It's very mature and modern.
Oo.
It's very refreshing.
It's Filipino modern love.
I am so pleasantly surprised by this movie.
Yun.
I'm gonna admit that.
Yeah, me too. And well, for QC Alabang, we are going to give this film a rating of A.
Solid A.
Solid A. Walang labis, walang kulang. We really enjoyed this film. This is a very beautiful film. And we want you to go out and see it. Actually, see this both. Kasi ang nakakatawa kasi parang companion pieces silang dalawa eh.
I agree.
Na it deals with how one views relationships or the relationship you are in the face of your struggles and your pressures.
Yeah.
Yun. That's napaka-unexpected na double feature.
Yeah.
Diba?
Love and life.
True.
Reflections, no?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's it for The Fall Guy and Men Are From QC, Women Are From Alabang. If you've seen any one or both of these movies, please share with us what you thought about it. Comment it on our social media accounts or down below on our Spotify episode page.
Again, don't forget to set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations. And while you're at it, please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you had fun or learned something new during this episode.
For my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.